up at the top. Oh, wherever I am will be highlighted the whole time. This is where I'm going to be, where I highlight, okay? You always know where I am. Up at the top, how much money do you want a net profit next year? How much money do you want a net profit? You need to write that number in at the top. Now, for the example I used, I put $100,000. Here's why. Every new agent in the room just wrote down $100,000.
That's right.
In 2009, when I started doing this, every new agent, they wrote $100,000. Here we are all these years later. That's like the magic number for new agents. If I can make a six-figure income. Anyway, write your number down. You have to fill in every blank for this to work. Everybody got that number? Okay. So new agents, I taught you to help you with this. I'm going to help you right now. We're moving down here, bottom left, second from the bottom. This says, this is percentage appointment conversion rate. So this says, when you go on the listing appointment, how often do you actually get the listing? Now, before you get the big smile on your face and go, I'm 100%. I know you are, because you went on 4 appointments. Your mama, your sister, your best friend, and your next door neighbor. Congratulations, you're a rock star. See, it's not about having 100%. It's about how many listings can I take. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that you are the master of the listing appointment. You're amazing. You go on 20 listing appointments next year, and you get all 20. 100%. 20 listings to build your life by design. Actually, me, I'm terrible at the listing presentation. I mean, I am horrible. It makes no sense. It's not that good. I don't do a great CMA, but I go on 50 listing appointments next year, and I get 40 of them. Now, I'm terrible at the listing presentation. Why did I get 40 out of 50? Because 40 times I'm the only one they called. Doesn't matter how bad I was. I'm it. I'm all they got. Oh, wow, there should be an aha in there about getting the phone call, about how do you get the appointment. Now, would you rather be 40 of 50 like me, or would you rather be 20 for 20? Personally, I care about the net income on the other side. I'd rather be 40 for 50. So I'm not about that percentage. Now, if you know it, that's okay. If you know what it is, write down. New agents in the room. Here's what I'm thinking. The average is 75. If I'm a new agent, I might write down 75. Now, here's the thought. You remember when we were doing the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and we said they go on 333 listing appointments? If you went on 333 listing appointments, would you be pretty good at the listing presentation? Well, why do they only get the listing 75% of the time? Oh, she said competition. You're not going to believe this. Do you know that the Millionaire Real Estate Agent team, they will actually go to people's houses they've never met before? Foreign concept to some people. They actually compete for listings. Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing I do. So, okay, I have to, you know what? I have to look before I don't want to offend anybody. I think I'm okay. Has everybody in here reached puberty? I mean, they're letting really young people get their license now, so I want to make sure. All right, you have left the puberty of your real estate career when you can actually walk in and you're at a listing appointment and you can look at them and you can say, no, I'm not going to list your house because you're not serious about the price or you're not serious about the condition. We are not a match. See, I'm not in the business of putting up signs. I'm in the business of taking signs down. They'll say no. That's why it's only 75. So new agents, if I were you, I'd probably just follow the model, just say 75 and let's see how it works. All right, everybody got that percentage? All right, we're going to go up 2 lines, percentage sold conversion rate. So what this says is, when you take the listing, how often do you close on it? Now, let's go back to 2021, 2022, first part of 2023. What percentage of the listings you took did you sell? All of them. Now, is that because you're awesome or because of the market or because of both? The market we were in, we sold every listing we took. We have never been in a market like that ever. We may never be in a market like that again. We're not. Remember, I showed you a stat earlier. Remember this one? Where I gave you kind of the failure rate in the business. So if this holds true, you have to know that over 80% of the people with a real estate license right now have gotten their license since COVID started. You know what that means? That means 80% of the people are like this. Well, I mean, I've heard of an expired listing, but it's kind of like a unicorn, right? but now we're starting to see them again. The market has changed, and we're getting closer to what we would call a normal market. You might not sell all of them. In fact, the historical average is 75%. Here's what I said. Who's in the business in 2010? Holy cow. Who was in the business in 2010?
13, you got it.
Is it me? Were you in business in 2010? No.
We got it in 13.
Just me? Oh, Michelle, thank you, man. I'm glad Michelle's back there. Guys, in 2010, I sold 48% of the listings I took, because that's the market I was in. Michelle, back me up on this. In 2010, I would not take your listing unless you signed a 12-month listing agreement.
Yep.
Because it might take that long to sell your house, and I still might not sell it. Because that's the market that we're in. Right now, we have roughly 1 million homes for sale right now. Typically, it's actually been less than that. Back then, we had 7.5 million homes for sale. Yeah, so markets change. You have to know the historical number. Write your number down. What number? Now, yours was probably going to be higher than 75. I get it. So, I experienced agents. Hey, new agents, you might just want to write 75 and just kind of follow the model and see how it works. All right, everybody got a percentage there? Let's go to the bottom right. Now, this is the hardest one to understand. This talks about what percentage of the time that you have a buyer appointment do you actually sign buyer agency. Now, I used to say this differently. I used to say, what percentage of the time do you have a buyer appointment that you either sign buyer agency or show them a house? Because we used to be able to get away with that. You can't do that no more. So I'm going to say, what percentage of the time do you have the buyer appointment that you sign buyer agency? Now, they say the average is 75. This one's hard to understand. For me and my team, our average is way, way, way higher than 75%. Ours is pretty close to 100%. But here's why. Because I run my team built off a database. We work with people that know, like, and trust us, or referrals from people that know, like, and trust us, or from agents who refer us business. So that's where, so for me, mine's really high. You have other people that their conversion right here might be 4%, because their business is built off of buying leads, and they have to shift through 100 leads to get 4 actual ones that work. So that's why the number's so different here. How you run your business is going to determine where you are here. So like for me, I would put in a really high number. You know, new agents in the room, maybe we just put 75 just to follow the model and see how it shakes out, because next year you'll know your numbers. So write your number there. 4% of the time you sign buyer agency. All right, I hate this number. This number says that 75% of the time that you sign buyer agency and show them houses, that they actually close on the house. Now, here's my thought. If I am driving you around and showing you houses and you don't buy one, I'm like the worst Uber driver ever, because I drove you around and didn't even get paid to drive you around. But what are the reasons they don't always buy a house? Well, circumstances, so part of it is life happens, right? I mean, I've had people lose jobs. I've had people get transferred during the process. I had one couple that actually got divorced during the process of buying a house, and I hope it wasn't my fault. But life changes. Now, I heard over here, sometimes finances. It's going to happen to everybody. You're going to have somebody that you thought qualified that doesn't. It does happen. If it happens too often, you might want to work on your pre-qualifying skills. How about this? Inventory's been terrible. They can't find anything. They say, I'm just going to keep renting. Does that happen? Sure it does. Sure it does. It happens. What's that? Yeah, they're too picky. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Sometimes people did qualify, but they took so long to buy a house, they don't qualify anymore. It happens. If we keep predicting that home prices are going to level out, we keep being wrong. They keep not leveling out. It happens. New agents, I might just put 75 just to follow the model. All right, I'm going to go up 2 lines now. So what percent of your business is buyers and what percent sellers? So I want to tell you this. The only way to build a big, bad, nasty, gnarly, hairy real estate business is through the listing side. That's how you build something sustainable. If you don't believe me, go ask a buyer's agent why you're a buyer's agent, and they say, because I've attached myself to somebody that's building a big, bad, nasty, gnarly, hairy real estate business, so I list the property. That's how you build it. Who knows what percentage of their business is buyers and sellers? Yes, sir.
Not good. 33% on the listing side, 66% on the buy side.
And PJ, here's the thing. You said not good. What I love though is knowledge is power. you know the number and you can start to figure out how to change it, right? We can start putting things in place. Cool. Who else knows their number? Yes, ma'am.
I'm 75 listing.
Okay. I'm gonna come back to you in a second. 75 listings. That's awesome. Seriously, so on the listing side, by the way, you control the market. You're on the front end of pricing, and you control your time because listings take less than buyers. Okay. Here's the thing. In actuality, millionaire real estate is 50-50 because there's one buyer for every one seller. We get that. I like looking at a balance, but tell me your name.
Jen.
Jen, my thought for you, just something to think about. If you like your business, I would never talk about other business. The first thing I think about with you is 75-25. Are we missing an opportunity in our marketing of properties to get more buyers? But that's completely up to you. But is there a way to get that closer, maybe a 60-40 or 55-45? You're not gonna take any more listings, just creating more buyers and therefore creating net income. But again, that's her business to run. So when I look at this, we know the average 50-50. New agents in the room. Here's my thought for you, is you're probably gonna be about 75 to 80% buyers. And you're saying, Ken, you just said that the only way to build it is through the listing side. Yes, I did. But as new agents, you are gonna get low-hanging fruit. And low-hanging fruit is gonna be the buyers early in your career. So unless you have some in to take listings, most likely you're gonna do more buyers on the front end. Now here's the good news. What do all buyers eventually become? Sellers. If you come back after lunch and take a lead gen with me, then maybe you'll figure out how to someday they'll choose you, and eventually your business will get closer to that balanced business that you're looking for. But new agents in the room, I'm thinking 75-80 over here and 20-25 over here. Everybody needs 2 percentages, and yes, the 2 percentages have to equal 100. I know your math skills are not good. All right, average commission amount. Who knows what their average commission amount is? PJ?
$10,241.
Is there any sense in there? Is it?
And 6 cents actually.
Again, knowledge is power. He knows. Maybe he knows his numbers. Who else knows what their average is? Anybody?
The office is 429,000.
Okay. Who's got a calculator? You go here. We got one right here. Put 429,000 in your calculator, and then multiply that by 2.7%. Because right now that's the average commission per side is about 2.7. What'd you get?
11,583.
11, so yeah, 11.5. So your average, so guys, this is gonna work perfect for the new agents in the room, because here's my thought. If the average commission in this office is 11.5, I'm gonna say as a new agent, your average commission is gonna be about $10,000. And here's why. You're gonna also get the low-hanging fruit, because all the agents are lead generating for the upper end properties, and you're probably gonna get more of the lower. So I'm guessing about $10,000 would be a pretty good number for you to put in if you work this area. All right? Hey, so do you have all the blanks filled in that I do? Awesome, get your calculator out. Everybody's like, nobody ever lets us get our phone out during class. So we're gonna do math. I'm gonna go slow. I will back up if you need me to. Again, if this doesn't work perfect for you because I get math is hard, see me at break and I'll make sure we got it right. I'll have everything highlighted up here. So if you will, put your net income number in your calculator. Net income number in your calculator. I want you to take that number and divide by 40%. Net income divided by 40%, and that is going to equal the total GCI that you need to create. Write that where it says total GCI. Net income divided by 40%. Your total GCI should be higher than your net income. Everybody got that? Okay, take your total GCI in your calculator. Total GCI, put that in your calculator. And I want you to multiply that by 30%. Total GCI times 30%. And I want you to write that number where it says cost of sale. Total GCI times 30%. Write that where it says cost of sale. All right, put your total GCI back in your calculator. Total GCI back in your calculator. take your total GCI and multiply it by 30% again. Total GCI times 30%. And I want you to write that number where it says operating expenses. Did you get the same number? Okay, good. Your calculator works. I always like to test that. All right, one more time. Put your total GCI back in your calculator. Total GCI back in your calculator. Now divide by your average commission amount. Total GCI divided by your average commission amount. And that's going to equal how many units you have to sell. That's how many homes you have to sell. You said the top part done. Now let's stop for just a second. I'm going to give you the first part of this. Now I want you to think about this. When I look at my conversion rates of my example up here, they're not great. They're average at best. I didn't cheat on my average commission amount. It's below the office average. But I want to make a 6-figure income, and I only have to sell 25 houses to do it. I'm just saying, 25 houses, 6-figure income, that doesn't sound too terrible. All right, we're going to do the left side of the page. We're only doing listings right now. So I want you to by the way, round up on everything. I have yet to sell half a house. So I always round up. So I'm going to take my 25 houses, 25 units sold, and I'm going to do the listing side. Take your total units sold and multiply that by what percentage of your business is going to be listings. So I'm going to take my 25 and I'll multiply it by my percentage. That's going to be my total seller listings sold. That's how many closings I have to have on listings. So my total units sold times my percentage on the listing side. So now I'm going to take my total seller listings sold, and I'm going to divide by that first conversion percentage. Don't forget the percentage. Total listings sold divided by that first conversion percentage. That's going to tell me how many listings I have to take. That's listings taken. Back up?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go back up. Total units sold. Take that number and multiply by your percentage of listings. Multiply that. Don't forget the percentage. That's going to tell you how many listings you have to close on. Now take that number, how many listings you have to close on, and divide by your conversion rate percentage. And that's going to tell you how many listings you have to take. Typically, we have to take more listings than we sell. If you figure out a way not to do that, you get to teach the class. Now I'm going to take that number. How many listings do I need? I'm going to divide by that next conversion percentage. And that's going to tell me how many listing appointments I have to go on next year. That's how many listing appointments I have to go on next year. All right.
Okay, so the number 7.
Divided by that percentage. If that's that's the number I took. Yeah. All right. Go back up. Put your total units sold back in your calculator. Let's do the buyer side. So I'm going to take my total units sold and multiply by my percentage of buyers. Total units sold times my percentage of buyers. And that's going to tell me how many buyer closings I need. So total units sold times my percentage of buyers. That's how many buyers I have to close. Now I'm going to take that number. I'm going to take how many buyers I have to close, and I'm going to divide by that first conversion rate. So how many closed buyers I have divided by that conversion rate, and that's going to give me the worst number on the page. That's how many crazy people I have to put in the backseat of my car. Now keep in mind, crazy people typically run in pairs, but we only count them once, okay? So that's how many buyer agencies I have to sign. Buyer agencies, that's buyer listings needed. Now I'm going to take that number, that total buyer listings needed, I'm going to divide by that next conversion rate. Don't forget the and that's gonna tell me how many buyer appointments I need. That's how many buyer appointments I need. Bless you. Okay, we're not done. We're not done yet. I want you to go back, and at the bottom where it says total seller appointments needed, do you see that number of total seller appointments needed? Put that one in your calculator. Total seller appointments needed, bottom left, put that number back in your calculator. Total seller appointments needed. Take that number and divide by 12. Write that number below it. That's how many that's how many listing appointments you have to go on a month. I can make a 6-figure income by going on less than 1 listing appointment a month. Anybody old enough to remember the Arsenio Hall show? Things that make you go, Hey, let's do the other side. Put in your total buyer appointments needed. Total buyer appointments needed. Take that number in your calculator and divide by 12. And write that number. That's how many buyer appointments you need a month. I can make a 6-figure income on 3 buyer appointments. If I go on 4 appointments a month, if I go on 1 appointment a week, I can make a 6-figure income. Things that make you go,